James, we've made it. Week 1, prep football is back, and it seems like it's been a while, so hopefully we get a good entree, we get a good lineup Thursday and Friday night to really entertain us to kick off the season. What are you most looking forward to on Thursday night, opening night?
Well, you got a lot of games, both, and they're split between Thursday and Friday, which is a good thing. People that want to go to a lot of games, they can go to one Thursday, they can go to one Friday. So you got a little bit of everything for the hardcore fans that really want to get into it right away. I mean, first off, you've got the big Boyne City Glen Lake game on Thursday. I mean, that's a huge game. Both teams were 8-0, started 8-0 last season, so they're both quick starters. Both of them lost their last game of the regular season, played each other in the playoffs, and Glen Lake won that game. And then this year it's at Glen Lake, so it'd be a good revenge game. I'm assuming Boyne City's looking for some revenge, but it's at Glen Lake, and Glen Lake's going to have Trevor Apsey playing this time. When they played in the playoff game, he wasn't playing because he was hurt, and he's probably their best player. So he's a difference maker. And
I think the most intriguing thing of that matchup is it involves two of our biggest leagues in the area, the Northwest Conference versus the Lake Michigan Conference, two of the best in those leagues, going one-on-one right away in week 1. So we see, what the pecking order's like as far as opposing leagues. We're going to continue on to Friday's big matchup right now. The Northmen of Petoskey are hosting a former Big North rival. Tell us what you know about this exciting one on Friday night.
Well, the Sault Ste. Marie is always a pretty decent team. Petoskey's got a pretty decent amount coming back from their team last year. They got 6 starters back on offense, 6 starters back on defense. They're getting their starting running back who missed most of last year due to an injury, or a big portion of it due to an injury, back. So they should be a pretty solid contender in the Big North. I'm not sure if they'll be able to win it or not. Who knows? But I think that they'll factor into it somehow.
And our Traverse City schools, public schools, Traverse City West, Traverse City Central, both starting the year out on the road, as they usually do. They like the road trips early, the long road trips at that. Central will be north of the bridge, and West will be pretty far downstate. Tell us about their opening week matchups.
West has got a really tough matchup. They got Midland. They were 11-1 last year. They've got a decent portion of their team, a half or a little bit more back. They lost their giant offensive lineman, which is ironic because West now has a gigantic offensive line and everything. But so it's going to be a real tough matchup for West. And then
Central and Marquette on Friday night.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Central's coming off a 9-2 season. Marquette's coming off a 5-4 season. So on paper, it looks like kind of a mismatch. Central's got a decent amount of its team back and a lot of speed and everything. But I don't know, that huge bus trip kind of negates some of that advantage I would think that you have.
Takes some of the gas out of you.
Yeah, so maybe for the first couple of series of the game, maybe Central's a little slower than they maybe would be, and then I look for them later on in the game to kind of take control of that one.
And one other game we haven't touched on yet, what matchup are you kind of looking forward to in week 1 that you think we'll see two real good squads take the field?
We've got Elk Rapids playing Mancelona, and kind of one interesting thing about Mancelona is that over the last 3 years of any Northern Michigan team, they've got the most wins of anybody. They got 29, more than St. Francis, who has 22, more than anybody other than St. Ignace, which is in the UP. St. Ignace has 33. And they've just kind of flown a little bit under the radar and everything like that. Elk Rapids, meanwhile, has been a pretty good program. Mancelona's won the last 2 between these two teams, but before that, Elk Rapids won 7 straight. So this should be a pretty decent early season matchup and something that Elk Rapids can see if they're bouncing back from last year's season. It won't exactly blow you out of the water, when you look at it maybe, but there's a good rivalry game between Manton and Mesick.
They play for what trophy is it?
They play for the Little Brown Jug. Manton has won it 3 out of the last 4 years. Mesick's got a new coach, so they're trying to turn things around. They didn't have the greatest season last year or anything like that, but in 2011 they went 1-8. Their one win was in the Little Brown Jug game. So, hey, you never know.
Sometimes that defines a season. You could go 0-8, but that one win in a 1-8 season, if it's against a rival, you consider yourselves pretty fortunate.
Yep.
All right.